Hello everyone, I'm here today because it's the 12th of February and today was announced the Women's Prize for Non-Fiction Longlist for 2025. So since I did follow quite closely last year and I really enjoyed the books that I chose, I decided to take a look. I have looked at this list already. I looked at it this morning, I was at work so I couldn't film my reaction, but just as a bit of an overview, at first I was a little bit underwhelmed by this list. I found that it was very history oriented and very British oriented. So that was a little bit different from last year. I think last year there was a little bit more diversity in terms of countries, in terms of themes, in terms of approaches. And of course I haven't read these books, I haven't read any of the books, so I have no clear picture of the angle that these stories are on, but yeah, it seems like there are several books that follow similar themes or topics, and it's definitely very British based. So with that said, I think it will be good for me to talk to you through the books that have been chosen, what I think about the choices, and my plans going forward with this prize. So the first book in the list is Autocracy Inc. By Applebaum, the dictators who want to run the world. And as far as I understand, this is more about like how the current political environment is, how it's not so much about the like big dictators that there used to be, but still we don't have the freedom that we should have, and a lot of that is due to companies, but that autocrats that run governments. Russia is a big example of that, and so it dive into those kind of things and what basically what the political world looks like right now. I am mildly interested in this. I'm not sure this is like, I like political books, but more when they focus on social justice and things like that, so I'm not sure if I want to read this kind of thing right now, but it is in my library, so it's a possibility. The next book is Embers of the Hands, Hidden Histories of the Viking Age by Eleanor Barraclough. I hope I'm not butchering that. And yeah, there's basically goes through the Viking age and the Viking history through certain objects. So I think it's a little bit on the vein of All That She Carried from last year's prize, in which they went through objects in a slave bag in the US, and they told the story through those objects. So this is kind of like the same idea but for Vikings. I'm not super interested in this, to be honest. Doesn't sound like something that immediately will appeal to me. Of course, I will see the reviews because some of these books highly depend on how they're written. The next book is The Eagle and the Hart, The Tragedy of Richard II and Henry IV by Helen Castor. I am not really interested in this either. Again, it's history, and it's British history of kings. Monarchy is not my thing, history is not my thing, so this is just not part of something I'm like super interested in. The next one in the list is A Thousand Threads by Neneh. And as far as I understand, this is a memoir of Neneh, which is supposed to be a music icon that I have no idea who she is. So I'm also not super interested in this because I don't know the person, and unless as far as I understand, there's nothing like, I don't know, I like memoirs that talk about a certain topic, and this seems to be about her life, and maybe it's super well written and I will really like it, and we will see, but this does not appeal to me at first sight. The next one, though, I am interested, is The Story of the Hart by Clarke. And this kind of, as far as I understand, this is about a family that lost their daughter and decided to donate her heart. And it's kind of part memoir, part like medicine, history of transplants and things like that. It might be a bit wrong on that, but I am interested in this one. The paperback comes out in September, so unless it's in the shortlist, I think I will wait it out, or maybe if my library gets it, that will be great. But at the moment, I'm really interested in it, but I'm not in a rush to pick it up. The next one in the list is Raising Hare by Chloe Dalton. And this is about a woman that decides to move from London to the countryside and go like more rural in her life and more like simple, not so so much pressure, like artificial pressure and all of that. It's interesting to me as well. I have seen, this is the one that I have seen in a lot of the prediction lists, so yeah, I'm interested in it. I think I have read similar things, so it depends a little bit on how it's written, so I would prefer also to get it from the library if they decide to get it. I don't have it at the moment, but it is something that I would consider reading, regardless if it's in the shortlist or not. The next one is Ootlin by Jenni Fagan. Jenni Fagan is an author of fiction books, and this is her memoir about growing up in the care system in the UK. And again, I am interested in this one. I think this one sounds interesting as well, and I expect the narration to be special because she is already a writer. So I am interested in this one. There is, as far as I saw, there is no dates yet for the paperback. Because if it's not in the shortlist, I would prefer to wait for the paperback, but I didn't see much about it, so it's not something that I'm going to read right now, but it's something I'm interested in. The next one is Why Fish Don't Exist, a story of loss, love, and the hidden order of life by Lulu Miller. And this is about Lulu Miller losing her dad when she was fairly young, and her dad was a scientist, so she remembers him through the science of finding out more things about our world. As far as I understand, that's kind of the premise. I have seen that cover in a lot of places, and I have not felt the need to pick this one up before, but it does sound like it could be really good or really bad, so I want to try it out. It is in Everand, and I still do have Everand for the rest of this month, but there are other things in Everand that I want to read, so it depends on how much Everand lets me read, if I read this one or not, and then if I run out of Everand, then I think I will consider it buying it, but not immediately. So that's my stand with that one. The next one on the list is Agent ZO. The Untold Stories of Fearless World War II resistant fighter Elżbieta Zawacka by Clare Mulley. Yeah, this is about World War II spy, I think, or fighter, and the things that she did, and the untold stories of women during the World War II. This one is maybe, like, I'm not super thrilled by it, but it's also something that is one of those books that I wouldn't mind reading if it was free, but I don't want to pay for it. So if my library has it, I might read it, but I'm not going to pay for it if it's not in the shortlist. And the next one is By the Fire We Carry, the generation-long fight for justice in native land by Rebecca Nagle. This one also sounds kind of interesting to me, but it's another one of those that I'm not sure I want to pay for it, because I have read a fair amount of Native American perspectives at this point, and I don't know how much this one adds to the overall conversation that I have already been part of. It is in Everand, so again, depending on how much Everand lets me read, I might read this one. If I run out of Everand, I might wait if my library has it, and if not, we will see. It's a bit in that category. The next one is Wild Thing, A Life of Paul Gauguin by Prideaux. This one is, as the title kind of suggests, about like the secrets of Paul Gauguin's life and how much more crazy it was than the general public thinks. I have no idea about how Paul Gauguin's life was, and in general I don't love to read about artists, and there are a few exceptions. If I really like the artist before reading the book, then it's interesting, but I don't particularly love narratives about an artist that I didn't know beforehand. So this one for me, for now, it's a pass. And again, depends on if it makes it the shortlist or not, but right now I'm not interested in it. The next one in the list is What the Wild Sea Can Be, The Future of the World's Ocean by Helen Scales. And this one is, as the title suggests, about the ocean, but it's focused mostly on the life that lives in the ocean. This one is in Everand as well, and it's actually one that I have already started. I have read the first 2 chapters or listened to the first 2 chapters. From the ones in Everand, it was the more appealing to me, so that's what I started with. And it also combines quite well because I read Blue Machine quite recently, and so Blue Machine was about more like the physics of the ocean, and this seems to be more about the life of the ocean. So I think it's an interesting coupling of those 2 books together. Then the next book is The Peepshow, The Murders of 10 Rillington Place by Get Summerscale. This sounds like a true crime about 3 women that were found in an apartment in London in 1953, and they discovered the bodies of these 3 women, and this author tries to uncover who these women were, basically. I'm not super into true crime or anything like that, so this one is not one that appeals to me immediately. It's something I wouldn't like be against reading, but it's not something that I'm like super interested in reading either. The next one in the list is Sister-in-Law, Fighting for Justice in a System Designed by Men by Harriet Wistrich. This is the one on the list that I'm the most interested in. It sounds amazing. It's about women rage and women activism, and how women find sisterhood in fighting for their rights. As far as I understand, it sounds very great, very good. The paperback is out on the 6th of March, so I have already pre-ordered a copy of this because I am very excited for this one. I definitely want to read it, regardless if it's in the shortlist or not. It sounds really, really good. The next one in the list is Tracker by Alexis Wright, which is a non-fiction. It's like a memoir of Aboriginal people in Australia, and it's kind of like a collective memoir. It's not just about the author, and in principle that sounds really good and sounds something like I would like. However, I have tried to read Praiseworthy by Alexis Wright a month ago, and I just didn't get along with the writing. It was too meandering and it was not to the point, and this book is like 800 pages. So I have my doubts. It's in Everand, so there is a possibility I will read it, but I'm not, even though the topic really appeals to me, I'm not jumping at this book because I'm not sure about the author's writing is for me. And then the last one in the list is Private Revolutions, Coming of Age in a New China by Yuan Yang, which is about 4 Chinese women trying to raise themselves in the Chinese culture. And the author Yuan Yang is, according to the blurb thing, the first Chinese-born British MP, which is interesting as well. This one is in my library, and this one I don't know if I would buy myself, but since it's in my library, I am definitely interested in reading this one. I think it's one that I'm very likely to read, just because it's in my library, so it's easy, and it sounds good. It sounds interesting. So yeah, those are all the books. As you can see, a little bit of a mixed bag. I think there's definitely a lot less diversity in the topics and also on the nationalities. So that was a bit disappointing for me, but there's still some really good interesting things here that I'm really excited to read. So as I said, Sister-in-Law I'm definitely reading. I pre-ordered a copy. That's a done deal. And What the Wild Sea Can Be is also I'm already reading it. So those two are gonna happen regardless. And then Private Revolution by Yuan Yang is in my library and I would likely pick it up. Another one that is in my library is Autocracy Inc. But I'm not so sure about that one. And then I am interested in the story of a Hart, but I might wait it out until September when the paperback comes out. I'm interested in Raising Hare, but I also want to wait a little bit to see if my library gets it or if I would get a copy myself. That's a little bit of a question right now. Same for Ootlin, Howard. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but that one I'm interested, but I want to wait it out if my library gets it or there's a paperback release or something. I'm not in a dear rush to read that one. And then Why Fish Don't Eat I'm interested in, and we will see if I get it in Neverland. Otherwise I might also wait it out a little bit, see if I can get it somewhere else. And then same for By the Fire We Carry. That one is in Neverland, and if I can read it in Neverland I will. If I can't, I will see if my library ends up getting a copy. And then Tracker, again it's in Everand, but it's the least priority in my Everand list just because I didn't like a previous work from the author. So that one is a big question mark for me. And then the ones that I'm not so interested in and I likely won't pick up at all is Agent S.O., The Peepshow, 1,000 Threads, Wild Thing, Embers of the Heart, and Ember of the Hands, and The Eagle and the Heart. Those ones I don't think I'm gonna read. So yeah, those are my plans. So at least 2-3 books I'm definitely reading. I hope they are in the shortlist and then I only have to read 3 more to complete it, but we will see. I'm also planning to vlog as I read. It's gonna be probably a long vlog, not necessarily in the amount of footage I have, but in the amount of time I'm gonna be recording it. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the list. Let me know yours. Let me know if you're excited about the list, if you are picking something up immediately. And yeah, until next video, bye!